Hey everyone, we are super excited to be sharing with you. This is actually the first time we've ever used this format, and we just want to keep it really simple for you. So we figured this will be like a one-stop shop. You don't have to look at different videos. It'll all be here tonight in this one video. And essentially, us three ladies, we didn't know each other before Rodan and Fields at all. And this business has really brought us together. And I consider both of these women just dear friends of mine. And we are just able to cheer each other on and do this thing together. And so we thought, what better way than to share with you together? Because that way you guys are really going to get different perspectives, because we all have different backgrounds and came upon this thing in very different ways. So what we're going to do is we are just going to start off the night with sharing our stories. They're all very different. It's different stories with the same vehicle. That's kind of how we think about it. And then we'll jump into sharing a little bit more about the what. So we're going to kind of start with why we're doing what we're doing, and then share the what. And our hope is really that you are going to be able to walk away from tonight getting questions answered and being able to make an informed decision for yourself to really decide, where does this fit in for me? And we'll kind of talk about that at the end. What are those ways that this can, that you can connect with this? So I am going to pass the baton over to Amy, who's going to start off by just sharing her story. So Amy, go for it.
Okay. So my name is Amy Grabowski. I have been a consultant for 4.5 years now, and I love it. A little bit about me: I am a stay-at-home mom of 4 kiddos. They are almost 9, 6, 4, and 1.5. So we are busy. Our house is always crazy and chaotic, and we love it that way most days. So when I started with Rodan and Fields, I was working in a restaurant 3 nights a week. We had 2 boys at the time, and I was almost ready to have our little girl. And we needed money. We honestly, I know not everybody starts for the money. I honestly started for the money. We needed something to change our financial situation, because I didn't like leaving at night, and my husband was working like crazy. He would have to leave at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning on Fridays in order to be home on time and still put in a full day for me to be able to leave and be at my job on time at night. And it was horrible. And honestly, we really couldn't see any light at the end of the tunnel. There was no other way at the time for us to feel like we were going to get anywhere. And my sister ended up calling me, and she was like, "Hey, I think you should talk to my friend. She just started this business called Rodan and Fields, and I think they sell skincare, and I think it was the Proactiv Doctors." She kind of gave me like a little rundown. She didn't even know what it was, but she trusted her friend who and several other friends in their church at the time who were doing really well starting out this business. And my initial reaction was, absolutely not. I am not interested. I am not going to sell anything. I don't have time to leave and do anything at anyone else's house. Because my idea of this type of business was, you go to strangers' houses, you push all this stuff on them and try to sell all these weird things that no one wants. And I was not interested in that at all. And I was like, our schedule is already full. I'm not interested in leaving my kids anymore to talk to strangers. And she was like, "No, I don't think that they do parties, so maybe you should talk to her." So honestly, when I found out that we didn't do parties, I was kind of sold. So I talked to her friend, and she gave me a little bit of info on the business. I talked to my husband, and we were the people that were kind of like, well, we got to do something. So if it's something I thought I could do, and at the time I was finishing up my esthetician's license as well, and we knew also going into that industry that it was competitive. I may not make near what I needed to make to be able to stay home. So it would be a long, possible years worth of time of building a clientele enough to be able to quit my restaurant job. And So it started out as, well, maybe get the products and you can use those on your clients and maybe make a little bit of money through it. And it quickly became, this is way more than I would make in a salon. So we're going to just forego that whole idea and just do this. And I think for us, one of the biggest things was one specific day I was leaving my mother-in-law, kept our kids. So we weren't even leaving our kids with strangers. They went to grandma's while my husband was at work until he got home with me leaving. And she was standing at our front door. She's holding my, at the time, 2-year-old and the baby. And my 2-year-old is hysterical. He's screaming at the door. So of course I go to work like a crazy sobbing mess. You know, it's one of those days that you think, I'm just going to quit. Can we like go live with someone? Like you're thinking all these crazy thoughts of, you know, I can't go to work. I don't want to leave my kids. What can I do if I quit my job today? So it was like when this came about was kind of perfect timing, even though it was the scariest thing. And we did not have the money to start this business. We did not have any money to start this business. But we knew that sometimes you have to invest a little money to make money, and we could see the big picture. We knew the Proactiv Doctors. We knew that brand. So it wasn't like we were going in super blind. We just knew we had to do something. So I guess to wrap up that super long story, it's been 4.5 years. I cannot imagine one day without this business and these people, Melissa and Michelle, especially these girls. I never would have known them if it weren't for this business. And for people that I talk to every single day now and that invest in me and in my business, and the amazing people that I get to do this business with that you meet that you never would meet other than doing this with us. And then being able to kind of choose who I get to do business with. So family, friends from high school that I haven't seen in years, and just the connections of the people to get to invest in other people's lives, and knowing what it did for me personally, going from a super shy person to being able to actually have a conversation with a stranger and not feel like I might die. Just the confidence that's come out of me, the leader that I'm still working on in me that has come out that I never, ever in a million years would have guessed that this would be what I was doing. And because of the people in this business and just the joy that it brings me watching my team flourish and complete strangers that have turned into best friends flourish in their business, it is, I know it sounds cheesy, it really is life-changing. And I know that can seem like just a tagline, but it really is what this business will do and can do if you let it. It's so hard to put into words. So I'm going to wrap up me now, and I'm going to pass it back to Michelle so she can share her awesome story with you. Like she said, we're so excited that you are watching and part of this. So enjoy the rest of the night.
Okay, yeah, it does. It sounds crazy to hear a bunch of, skincare reps saying that, this is somehow life-changing. But for me, I was coming from being an English teacher. Never in a million years really saw myself in any sort of business, definitely not skincare. I was that girl that washed her face with whatever was in the shower. Didn't really know how to take care of my skin, didn't know anything about that industry. But I found myself at a place during my second pregnancy with really severe eczema. All over my hands, all over my face. If I'm honest, I was really sick and pregnant, so I didn't really care what my face looked like. But I couldn't do dishes. It hurt to wash my hands. I couldn't give my oldest daughter a bath. And so my husband, who was working 14-hour days, would come home and have to pick up that slack. And that was really hard for me. And so after so many trips to the dermatologist, knowing because I was pregnant, I couldn't use steroids that really were just a very quick relief. They never healed my skin anyway. We knew we had to do something, and I was at a loss. I had tried literally like baby eczema creams, everything. And I had a friend who I trusted. I had worked with her in college, in ministry. She wasn't one of those people, right, that are going to jump on some bandwagon and do something weird. Like, she was posting these before and afters, and I was seeing people with eczema like me and their skin being healed, and we were broke. I had walked away from my teaching job to raise my girls, and that meant our income was slashed in half, and we were living on one teaching salary. And things were tight, and we were trying to save every penny to put down on our first home. We still had mounds of school debt that I had brought into our marriage, over $50,000 worth of loans when we got married that I brought into that equation, which was fun times. So we were very strapped, but we knew we needed to fix this problem. And so my husband was totally on board. I would be up at night groaning in my sleep because I was in pain. And he's like, we need to get you help. So I reached out to my friend and I said, tell me about this product. And she pretty much said, look, just a side note, if you want the 25% off, consultants get that biggest discount. And guys, I don't know about you, I always want the biggest discount. So if you're going to give me the choice between 10% off or 25% off, I want the 25% off. We didn't have the room to I needed all the savings I could get. So I went ahead and said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a consultant kit. And what sealed the deal for me, guys, I had used so many products that didn't work, was the 60-day money back guarantee. I would never have done it if I didn't have that. Couldn't risk losing that money. And so I felt like I could get it all back. It was no risk for me. And it truly is no risk. And that's what did it. So got my kit. Long story short, if any of you want to see my before and afters, I'd love to share them with you. But almost 4 years later, I am flare-up free from eczema. My skin has never been clearer and stronger. And I'm free from that. But guys, I told you where we were at financially. And that's really where my story sits, because we live far from family. Both of our families. We're in Atlanta. My whole family's in Chicago. My husband's family's in San Diego. And we were now at a place financially where we had tried so many times to get back up north to be by family. And it was like God kept shutting that door. And now that I was having children, that was even more gut-wrenching for me. And now we're at a place financially where I felt like I was at the mercy of job opportunities opening up and pay scales. And I was at a place where we're looking at our bank account and there's not money to even go visit family. And for me, that was not okay. So here I am, just really trying to meet a need for my skin and get freed from that. And I always share this story, and many of you probably have heard this story. There's a guy and he's drowning in the ocean and he's calling out to God saying, save me, save me. And a helicopter comes and throws down the ladder. And the guy's like, I talked to God, he's going to save me, I'm good. And he continues to struggle, and a boat comes and he waves on the boat and the guy ends up drowning. And he gets to heaven and he's like, God, I asked you to save me. And he said, I sent the boat, I sent the helicopter. And I wasn't going to be that person that, because my prayers were being answered in an unexpected way, I was going to pass it by. And, here I was, an English teacher by profession, who kind of said never to that whole MLM direct sales thing, right? I was smarter than that. I was an introvert. I was all these things that wasn't that. And I can tell you now, almost 4 years later, so to backtrack, 3 weeks later after starting, I got an almost $500 paycheck deposited into our account. And I had known it was the Proactiv Doctors. Guys, my skin was getting healed. But when that happened, and I knew that I earned that paycheck, sick, on the couch, at home, we had one car at the time. I almost never left the house, working from my phone and computer. And it was like, this was this freedom, and it was like gaining back that control. And fast forward now to where we are today, I have friendships that I never would have believed that I had. Women who will root for you. A true friend is someone who's going to rejoice when you rejoice and mourn when you mourn. And those are the kinds of friends that I've been able to form through RNF. And I look at us now and we're living debt-free. We are able to give in ways that we dreamt about. We are able to provide. There's so much margin. And now I get to sow that seed into the women on my team and see God's purposes come to pass in their life. And I am a part of that. I play a role in that. And it's so much bigger than me. And it's become so much bigger than my skin, so much bigger than inside the walls of my house and our bank account. It's more than that. And I'm going to close up, but my encouragement to those of you that are on tonight is to, you may not be able to dream bigger yet than whatever that thing is right now. But if you feel a call on your life or a burden or a need for freedom, see past the skincare on the surface and see this as a vehicle, because that's what it is. And it might be unexpected. It might be the last thing you ever wanted, but get your questions answered, because there's not going to be another opportunity like this in your lifetime to partner with a company of this caliber on a global scale. So I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. I am just, I almost hate saying like #grateful, #blessed. That's how I feel, but I am. And so that's where I'm going to leave it. And I am going to pass it on to Melissa, who is our just amazing friend, amazing mother and wife, and CPA. So I'm going to pass it on to you, Melissa, so you can share your story.
Hi. Oh my gosh, Michelle, you had me I was like, don't make me cry. Don't make me cry. I want to show off these lashes. Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa Thomas, and I am 32 years old. I live in Norman, Oklahoma. I am a mommy to a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I am a full-time CPA. My Rodan and Fields journey started about 9 years ago. No, I didn't start 9 years ago, but my journey started 9 years ago. It all started when I graduated from OU with my master's in accounting. I was so excited. I thought I had it all figured out, like most recent college graduates do. They think they have it all figured out. And I was ready to tackle the world of accounting. And I was really, really excited. I had my first job here in Norman, and I was fired from my first job. And I was told that I was not cut out for it. When that happens to someone who is just thinks they're gonna, take on the world, it can really, it crushed me. And it really kind of set this voice in my head in motion that I really wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't cut out for this. I was never going to be successful because I'm not cut out for whatever I want to do. Eventually, I did get another job, which I am currently at today. Not today, but at the present time. And I still, even though I've been in that job for almost 10 years now, I still would have that voice in the back of my head that would say, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're not cut out for this. And at the time that this company first came into my radar, I had just had my son Cooper, and I was starting to notice some darkness, some wrinkles, some things that I had never noticed before on my face that were going on. Wasn't a fan, and I was ready to get rid of them. So like most of us that have come to this business, we saw a post on Facebook, the power of social media. I saw a sorority sister post about Rodan and Fields, and I had immediate brand recognition because I had used Proactiv when I was in college and it worked great. And I remember seeing those words, Rodan and Fields, like written in green on the bottom of that bottle. And I was like, if these people are making anti-aging skincare, like, sign me up. These products are going to work. Which I just want to highlight, like, in my field, in what I do tax returns. And I can tell you that businesses spend an exorbitant amount of money to build brand recognition that we have already built in to our business. Whenever we get our business kit, it's already there. People already know these names. They know that these products work. Okay, we don't have to invest any of our own money to prove that our products work. I just want to say that it's one of the best parts of this business. So I was ready to try these products. And I reached out to my sorority sister and I asked her if I could try some. And so I actually was a customer first before I became a consultant. I was a customer for maybe a couple of weeks because after I saw the changes in my skin, I was like, okay, this is incredible. These are some incredible products. If this is something that, is going to be as big as Proactiv, like, I want to get in now. And so I jumped in head first. And I, initially had thought, these kinds of companies, I don't know about that. But I eventually jumped in, and you guys, my first full month's paycheck was 4 figures. And I have never had a paycheck that was not 4 figures since then. It is an incredible opportunity for you to leverage the brand that these doctors have built into a business of your own, and use what they have already built to not only help yourself, help your current financial situation, but help others as well. It is a proven business that works, and it works well. And not only does it help you financially, I mean, if you want it, you have to run with it. You can't just sit on your business kit and expect to get a paycheck. But if you seize this opportunity and actually run with it, it can do amazing things. And I can say today, that little voice that was in the back of my head telling me I'm not good enough, Rodan and Fields has completely silenced that voice, because not only has my financial situation completely turned around, and I'm looking at maybe the possibility of going part-time very soon in my work as a CPA, but my belief in myself, my conviction on my potential, on me being worthy of success, on me being someone that says to myself, you are cut out for this, it has completely changed. And not only do I get to tell myself that, but I also get to help others believe it too, which is the very best part, especially these 2 girls that are on here. Because like Michelle said, true friends are ones that are going to cheer you on, but they are also ones that are going to tell you, listen, this isn't working, you need to take another route. That is a true friend. And that is what I have found with Rodan and Fields. Not only the money, right, which is good, great, awesome, but the relationships and what it does to you personally, to me, is the very best part. So that's just my short story. I know it was kind of like a little long. I don't know if it was longer than anybody else's, but anyways, that's where I am with this business, and I am so glad I said yes.
Okay, so if you could not notice the passion in all 3 of us, something that, oh my gosh, again, like, not to go back into my story, but like, sometimes as a stay-at-home mom, you can kind of feel a little lost in the shuffle of life, and I feel like your life is very much routine and that you're not finding you, and that maybe a little bit of that is lost. And sorry, I got a little emotional listening to their stories, even though I've heard them so many times. It's just, oh my gosh, the lives that really do get to be changed by this business that we get to be a part of, the passion being found, the sense of purpose that maybe felt a little lost, where like my whole life, all I wanted to do is be a stay-at-home mom. But what I didn't realize was that sometimes, while I know that is right now where God has placed me and it's my dream, sometimes you feel like, where's my purpose in this season other than raising kids that I get to be a part of? And this is what it is. So, okay, I won't go back into all that, but I am, because I'll probably start crying and it could go on for hours. So I'm going to tell you just a little bit about why we're so amazing as a company and as a brand. So our Genius Doctors started out with Rodan and Fields, their legacy brand, in department stores, Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, big brand stores, behind glass counters. And they were realizing that they were not getting the attention and the sales that a lot of these other brands like Clinique, maybe I shouldn't say names, the big brands of products. So they weren't getting the attention, even though they knew how good their products were. So they made the choice to leave department stores. And during all this, they had actually sold their brand to Estee Lauder, realized the wave of e-commerce and social media, bought their brand back, and decided to go into network marketing. So we were not a company that started as a network marketing company and then chose the route of skincare. We are a skincare company, a skincare brand that chose the channel of direct selling. So that's huge, because there's a lot of companies that just are like, oh, let's jump on this bandwagon and we'll do skincare. We are skincare that chose this channel, which has been a huge blessing to all of us, because they chose normal people like us to be able to share their brand and share their vision. So they took their company, gave it to us and said, here's our baby. You go and share it with people and you benefit from it, because it's going to grow you and it's going to grow your finances. And we have been the beneficiaries of their vision and their blessing to us. So now, as we are in this channel, we, in such a short time, we are 10 years old now as a company. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary in this market. And we are, in such a very short time, the fastest growing skincare company in the country. We are the #1 premium acne brand in the country, and we are the #1 skincare brand across all price points and channels in North America. That's huge. Currently, we're only in the US, Canada, and Australia, and we are rapidly growing as the fastest skincare brand. So that's huge. That is so huge. So we have hit the $1 billion mark as a company, which for being such a young company is huge. We are definitely a disruptor brand, and we have amazing investors coming in. I won't go into all of that coming in. They see how quickly we're growing and how huge this is, and they want to be a part of it. Companies that have supported, it's just a lot to go into, but they have supported other brands starting out as they go into their huge growth phase. And so they're coming in and helping us do that. So when you have outside investors begging for a seat at your table with your board, that's huge. So I'm going to make sure I'm not leaving anything out. So yes, we are #1. It's amazing. I'm going to go ahead and just pass it back to Melissa so she can share a few more exciting things with you. Enjoy.
Yeah, Amy is completely right. We actually do have people that do investing for a living, like billions of dollars worth of investing. I don't know. If you're curious, Google TPG investment firm, and that's the kind of people we are like playing ball with, okay? They have billions of dollars invested in strategic partnerships with other companies. Like, so I was at convention and the TPG co-founder, Jim Coulter, was there, and he was sharing, why TPG decided to partner with Rodan and Fields. And he was like, I will quote him, something is going on here and we are along for the ride. It is just so exciting about the future with Rodan & Fields. And that really is what makes us special, is our doctors, how they have created products that work. That is the very foundation of what we do, is our products. They work. And people want products that work. They don't want to throw their money away anymore with their product graveyard that's under their sink. I mean, we all have one. We obviously don't, because at least I don't. I threw those away like the day that I got my RNF products in. But that really is what makes us special, is our products. And, you know, like I said, I do taxes for a living. And prior to joining Rodan & Fields, I had done a lot of tax returns for people who, you know, do stuff like this. And initially I was very hesitant to the idea of Rodan & Fields because I had seen so many of these businesses, or what I thought were these businesses. And usually it involves buying a lot of inventory upfront with your own money, and then trying to hawk it off. And anything that you don't sell, you have to give away or sell at a huge discount, which means a loss to you and your profit. But when I heard no inventory, the only products that you have are the products that you use personally. When I heard that, I was like, oh, all right, let's do this thing, because that is in itself a reason to join Rodan & Fields. No inventory. We don't have to have a separate room in our house filled with stuff that we have to get rid of, that we have to go to the post office to ship off to people. If we want to ship something to someone, that is completely our choice. Like today, I'm going to run by the post office because I've chosen to give something away to someone who has joined my team. So that is like completely up to us. We do not have to do any of that stuff. Rodan & Fields ships products directly to our customers' doors. We don't have to do the tracking. We don't have to do the invoicing. We don't have to do any of that stuff. Rodan & Fields does it for us. And that is the way of the future. Okay, and now we see all these companies who are starting to go completely, virtual, because they see us, they see what we're doing, and they say, it's working for them, let's do it. So we really are pioneers in this sales channel. Okay, no inventory. We don't have any quotas. Okay, if you don't hit some certain goal, that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to like pay in order to get, none of that. Okay, there are no requirements, and we are actually unique in that you don't have to spend a dime in this business to make money. You don't. You just don't. Now, there are certain programs that we strongly encourage future leaders, somebody who wants to take the bull by the horns and run this as a business. There are certain programs we encourage you to enroll in. But this is not a trap. This business is not a trap. We don't require you to do anything. You can simply claim the discount, like Michelle had intended to do. You can just claim the discount on products that you love. You don't have to do anything. But if you do want to do something, boy, is there opportunity for you. Another thing that was huge for me, no required parties. Okay, we have all been to those parties where you think it's just a get together, and then somebody pulls in a whiteboard and you're like, what is going on? And then they start drawing stuff, like usually a big triangle, right? No, none of that. We don't have to have parties in order to run our business. We can have parties if we want. I mean, they're fun. They usually have wine and cheese, so I'm usually on board for those. But we don't have to do that unless we want to. And virtual events like these are completely up to us if we want to do it. This is something that we choose to do to help our teams grow and to help other people understand what Rodan & Fields is. So just those points alone make Rodan & Fields completely unique. Like I said, you don't have to do anything, but if you want to, you can do it. So I love this business for the freedom that it gives you to run it how you want to run it. And that's one of the very best parts.
Yeah. And Melissa kind of hinted at where we're at right now and talked about this private equity investment company that sought us out. We didn't seek them out looking for, sorry, I need to look at the dot so that I'm looking at you guys. I'm drifting. But that this company saw the trend of our growth. We recently hit that $1 billion in revenue, and they wanted, like Amy said, a seat at the table. And that speaks volumes. Guys, when you look at the growth of RNF, it so greatly outpaces our competitors to the point where if you looked at it on a chart, here's RNF at 66% growth, and our competitors are in the red. They're not growing. They're falling behind because we are taking their market share, okay? And I don't want to get into too many of those details, but when you look at our growth, it is comparable to other disruptor brands like Amazon, Airbnb, Uber, okay? These companies like Netflix, these are all tech companies, and we are a skincare brand. But when you look at the numbers, we look like a tech company that's booming. And so the timing right now could not be better. So I'm going to talk about a few things. Guys, we just launched a whole slew of new products, and we are about to launch a new one in the first quarter of next year that is supposed to be a doozy. And guys, if you're on here, I know you've seen Lash Boost pictures. So that's just one example of the innovation that you get to harness the power of that. You didn't have to go in a lab and you didn't have to develop it, but you get to reap the reward of how effective that product is, okay? We sold over 200 million in sales in its first year, outselling the #1 mascara in the country, okay? And people are still buying it because it works. And so you get to leverage their innovation. You don't have to do anything. And I say this in 100% love. My sister has an Amazon business. She develops products. She has to seek out and vet manufacturers overseas and sometimes domestically. She is a rock star, and she's been such an example to me. But you know what? I also look at it and say, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that part of it. I just have to tell people. I just have to share. I don't have to convince people. The results speak for themselves. I just have to share and find the people that are like me and have a need for it in some way, shape, or form. So the pipeline, there's a bright future in terms of innovation, and they've got a schedule for the next few years and are going to be bringing us, multiple new products every year. And you get to leverage that. Global expansion. Okay, guys, our first move in terms of global expansion was Canada in 2015. And today in 2018, we are the #1 skincare brand there. The next move was Australia. We hit our 1-year projections for Australia in the first 4 months. And the next market, which is one of the biggest that we are going to be headed to, is the Asian market. Guys, you may be thinking, well, I don't know anyone there. Well, who cares? Someone you know might know someone there or have family there or know someone who knows someone who knows someone. I mean, the potential it's mind-blowing when you really kind of can grasp where this thing can go. It can run just so much bigger than your circle. I'm going to just tell you guys, like my wedding photographer, she lives in China now. She didn't when she was my wedding photographer, but you better believe when I started posting about RNF, she wanted to know about our reverse regimen. And I couldn't sell it to her. But you know what? You better believe when they open the door for that market, she's going to be the first person that I reach out to. So you just really can only think bigger and bigger. And one stat that I want to share with you guys is when you think of brand awareness, I'm going to use a brand like Neutrogena. About 99% of people have brand awareness. They've heard of Neutrogena, right? I mean, maybe not the people that are living in caves somewhere, but 99%. And RNF, even though, remember, we're the #1 skincare brand in all of North America, but even being #1, we only have a 33% brand awareness. That doesn't mean 33% of people are using our products. That means they've heard of it, okay? And I mean, the horizon is just so bright and there's so much room for growth. And even though we're #1, guys, when you look at the entire beauty industry, anti-aging skincare industry, we have got such a small piece of that pie, and yet we're #1. So imagine what's going to happen as we increase and continue to take more of that market share, because we have got brands like Estee Lauder on their heels, and they are trying to figure out what we're doing because we're stealing from them, and not because we're mean, but just because our products work and we understand how to share them through relationship. So the timing just could not be better. And, you know, I know Amy shared with you, the timing wasn't right for her finances. The timing was not right for me with my finances. Oh no. I mean, we took money out of our savings. But guys, when the timing will never be right for you to make a change. And so I just really challenge you, and then Melissa's going to wrap us up here in a second. Don't think of it as purchasing skincare if you want to buy into this business. It's an investment, and you are purchasing an extra stream of income standing on the shoulders of global billion-dollar giants. That's what you're doing. And some of you need to reframe how you've been looking at it, because you think you're just spending a bunch of money on skincare. I hope that's not all you're doing with it, because then you're not using an insane tool that's in your hands. So I just hope that this really helped answer some of your questions. Feel absolutely free after Melissa wraps things up and you've watched this. Post in the comments if there are things that sparked personal questions that you have that are maybe unique to your situation, and we really want to answer those. So Melissa, I am passing the baton back to you.
Okay, so I'm just thinking, people living in caves, I think we've got like a new strategy, because their skin has got to be dry, right? I mean, they could really use that hydration serum. I mean, I'm just saying. Anyways, we are so glad you guys joined us tonight. We really wanted to do this, all three of us together, because we have such a unique friendship, and the different stories that we have really come together perfectly to highlight exactly who can do this business. And that really is anyone. That could be a stay-at-home mom. That can be someone who wants to stay at home, like me. I want to stay at home. I don't want to go to work. It can work for anyone. So we really encourage you to ask the hard questions that you've been wanting to ask, because believe me, we want to answer those questions. We want you to be completely informed about everything, so that you can make an educated decision. But anyways, we're gonna sign off for the night, but we really hope we get to know you, and maybe you'll be on an event like this with us one day. Anyway, take care, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.